Hey guys, welcome back to Carbon Scoring, our little clubhouse where action figures and comic book history come together. Today, we journey to Asgard for a look at my Thor display. We'll talk about Thor's history in the Marvel Universe, how I set this display up, and look forward to some figures we hope to get in the future. So let's hop on that rainbow bridge to Asgard. Thor first appeared in the Marvel Universe in the 83rd issue of Journey into Mystery in August of 1962, the same month that Amazing Fantasy 15 was published, featuring the first appearance of Spider-Man. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were obviously hitting on all cylinders, but this title had taken a while to find its stride. Like many of the Marvel Atlas books, Journey into Mystery drifted from topic to topic. Initially horror, then science fiction fantasy, whatever was popular at the time. The book did have a couple of meaningful firsts. It was the first comic to bear the seal of the Comics Code Authority with issue 23 back in 1955. And in June of 1961, issue 69, along with Patsy Walker 95, were the first modern comics to be labeled as Marvel Comics, both with an MC on the cover. Thor slowly took over the anthology book, though, with full control by issue 105 through the title's last issue of 125 in February of 1966. The Mighty Thor, however, picked up the numbering, with its debut issue numbered 126. Wow, those last two covers are amazing. This is peak Jack Kirby art, and while his 108-issue run on Fantastic Four is rightly heralded as the greatest of the Silver Age, the 96 issues he did on Thor take a backseat to no one. So let's take a peek at the Thor shelf. It occupies the uppermost right corner of my Marvel Legends wall. If you've watched my other videos, you know there's always a method to the madness of how I set up my displays. Here we can see the overall layout. If you look closer, there are 4 distinct groupings of figures. Take them away and it's easier to see. Big 3 of Odin, Thor, and Thor anchor the display, with heroes to the left and villains to the right. Oversized figures provide depth to the backdrop. Normally, I'd have the largest figure, in this case Fing, Fang, Foom, in the center, but because this shelf is at the top right of my overall display, it actually works better in the corner, giving balance when you look at the room as a whole. We'll begin with the big bads. This Destroyer figure comes from the Marvel Select line. His oversized scale gives him the heft that he needs to be such an imposing presence, and they crushed the comic book look on this dude. Next, I have the Frost Giant from the Marvel Universe line. He's meant to be in scale with the 3 3/4 inch figures, but he still towers over a 6-inch Marvel Legends display. And finally, the baddest of the bad, Fing Fang Foom. It took 2 waves of Hulk classics to complete this Build-A-Figure, and it remains one of the most sought after and most expensive Marvel Legends ever. Pretty easy to see why. The level of detail and sculpting is unmatched. When you first glance at my display, this behemoth immediately catches your eye. What an utterly badass action figure. Of course, the center of the display has to be the Odin son himself, the Mighty Thor. We've gotten numerous great Thor figures over the years, but I chose the 2011 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the one that came packaged in a replica of Thor's hammer Mjolnir, to center my display. This one has a paint application that shows Thor bringing the lightning, and I love the dynamic crackle across his chest plate. A comic version of Thor resides in my Avengers display. This one stays with the gods. While not cartoony, it is still based off the comic art of Olivier Coipel. Flanking Thor to the right is the All-Father Odin. Coming as a Build-A-Figure in 2015, Hasbro also did us a solid by including a Destroyer left arm and an additional head, so you could display this as King Thor if you wished. On the Odin son's right is Thor. Not Lady Thor, not She-Thor, just Thor. Jane Foster earned the right to wield Mjolnir during Jason Aaron's run on the title. I highly recommend all of us rereading it before Thor's 3rd movie, Love and Thunder, hits theaters. Sticking with the warrior maidens of Asgard, Lady Sif and Valkyrie lead the charge of allies on the left side of the shelf. They are joined by custom figures of Fandral and Hogun, 2 of the Warriors 3. Come on Hasbro, give us a huge Volstagg to complete this triumvirate. Wrapping up the allies of Thor is Beta Ray Bill. I'm serious when I say this may be my single favorite action figure in my entire collection. Bill made his first appearance in the initial issue of Walt Simonson's groundbreaking run in issue 337 of Thor. He was the sworn protector of his race, searching the universe seeking refuge for his people. Thor mistook this for an attack, and during their first battle, Bill defeated Thor when Thor reverted to his mortal Bill Foster form. Beta Ray Bill claimed Mjolnir as his own, having won it fairly in combat. Odin brought the two warriors together and staged a battle to the death for the rightful possession of the hammer. Again, Bill prevailed, but he spared Thor's life in the process. Odin, witnessing the nobility of Beta Ray Bill, crafted a new hammer for the champion, Stormbreaker. You may not be familiar with these comics, but I guarantee you've seen Stormbreaker in action. This figure came in Toy Biz's Silver Surfer Collector Series line from all the way back in 1997. And while we've had subsequent Beta Ray Bill figures, nothing comes close to this one. The size, the detail in the sculpting and the paint applications, and the gold plating on Stormbreaker keep this in a prized spot in my collection. Now let's bring on the bad guys. You can't have a Thor shelf without including Thor's evil half-brother, the god of mischief, Loki. Hasbro's hooked us up with multiple Loki figures, including this great classic version, as well as one from the brief period of time he spent as a woman. Next comes the Enchantress, who seems kind of lonely without her partner in crime, the Executioner. We've gotten an MCU version, we need a classic comic version. Toy Biz did release a 6-inch Destroyer figure as a variant of their Thor Buster Iron Man armor. It's not that great, but it still goes for like $80 on eBay. And lastly, the Dark Elf Malekith. He first appeared in Walt Simonson's run, and was the big bad in the second Thor movie, The Dark World, which I had completely forgotten about. He recently rose back to prominence in Jason Aaron's War of the Realms storyline. So there you have it, a dive into one of the smaller sections of the Marvel Legends universe. If you like the video, tell us, and hit subscribe so we can continue to share our love for comics and action figures. Until next time, we'll see you on Carbon Scoring.